Soundstripe. Thefanspectrum, I see you. Let's go.
All right.
We're back at the ballpark, guys. Where is he at?
You know, now that they got their ace Boom Coon back.
I gotta stick with MJ.
Okay. Hey, I mean, you don't have to say it because I'm here now.
Okay, my boy Cole right here. I hope Lamar Jackson smells blood in the water.
Hey,
They
that
can figure
man.
it out.
Hey, that.
Thefanspectrum, right here.
We got a great episode with you guys today. We got a big Chicago sports enthusiast in the building from the Windy City Breeze. We got Pat the designer in the building today.
Okay, baby, welcome.
Talking,
Get
we definitely appreciate you coming on the show today. We're gonna talk all things Chicago. We got some Chicago heads in the building, so let's get into it, man. Let's start off with the Chicago Bulls. Pat, I know you're a big time Bulls fan. You kind of want to discuss where the Bulls are at, what we think they need, and possibly how their future is gonna look. How do you feel about the Bulls so far, Pat?
I think the Bulls this season, right? Like you look and they're 6 and 7, and I go through the ups and downs. I'm still a fan at the end of the day, but the one thing that I see is a team that understands what it went through last season. And when you look at what they went through last season, right? I mean, come out balling, Lonzo Ball killing it. We throwing oops, it's Up City, baby. We crushing the game. We the best team in the world.
That's right.
And then people start getting hurt and people start getting injured and the game starts falling off and the game is not the same. And then now you're relying on DeMar to break Wilt records just to get into the playoffs, right? And so I think the Bulls have more of an understanding of where their season really is. And I think, right, that's their first season in the playoffs with this unit. And they're like, hey, that's more important than the beginning of the regular season looking really good. So I think you've seen that, right, with Zach Lavine doing a little bit of injury management on the knee. I think you've seen that with kind of how Billy Donovan has paced the team, how he staggered the offense. I like some of the lineups. I think there's been small things, right? Like, I think the Bulls right now look like a team that at the beginning of the season is trying to figure itself out. Not to say that they don't know what's going on, but right, like, the last game, right, versus New Orleans, DeMar turns the ball over off his leg. When does DeMar DeRozan do that? You know what I'm saying? So it seems like there's little things that they've had to go through. And on top of that, the Bulls' schedule has been ridiculous.
Yeah. Really
Back-to-backs, 3 and 4 nights, stuff like that. So when if you're looking at it from the fan perspective, it's like, man, they tired. But when you think about it in retrospect, right, you're seeing a lot of issues that you don't have time to go to practice for. You're really just doing shooting.
Yeah, very true.
That's very true. I mean, we kind of discussed, a lot of teams are kind of trying to figure it out. I mean, you got a lot of teams across the league. It seems like they're struggling. I mean, look at the Warriors, for instance. That's the team that they were strong last year, and now they're, underneath 500. So I definitely could see what you're talking about. If there's anybody that you think needs to show out a little bit more this year, or just kind of needs to just get it going.
Oh, no, that's easy. Zach Lavine. I'm sorry. You got paid $215 million. Money comes with expectation. That's just what it is, right? And so you look at Zach Lavine and you say, you've got to show me more. You've got to give me more. You've got to play with more. When you look at DeMar DeRozan, I know what DeMar's going to bring. Vooch is a walking double-double. Patrick Williams, I want to see more from you, but like at this point, right, like whatever you figure it out, figure it out.
Right.
I think the problem with it's not there's a problem with Pat. I just think it's a confidence in his game. I feel like because he's around great shooters, he's just like, cool, I'm gonna just move the ball through DeRozan. I'm gonna move the ball through Zach because they're the offensive pieces. But with that being said, if we can get a powerful, I wouldn't mind seeing Pat coming off the bench with that crew. Because if you have Dragic off the bench, you have Pat, you have Drummond, that'd be a solid road. Like that bench mob would be legit. Because then I feel like then they can let Paul get a better offensive game a little bit more versus where he's at now.
Those are the things that you look at for P. Will, and you're saying, listen, right now, kid, shorty, you just a garnish. You just a little bit on top. You know what I mean? Like we need Zach, we need DeMar to cook, we need Vooch to cook. You just a little bit of sauce on top. Ayo, you a little bit of sauce on top.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the whole meal yet.
Right.
So I'm saying, and that's the thing, right? Like you need those guys to take that step. You look at Milwaukee, you look at Golden State, you look at any championship team. It's not, hey, we brought in all these dudes and all of a sudden they started working out. It's some dude developed over there. He looked ridiculously good at one point. You were like, hey, maybe we can win a championship with him. And then maybe you add some pieces around him. But like for the most part, like I look at Milwaukee as the example, right? Like they didn't become the Milwaukee Bucks that we was worried about until Giannis became a Greek god.
You're right.
Let me ask you this: who do you build around then, as far as the Bulls? Is it DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine? Because it has been Zach LaVine in the past. Now it kind of seems like it's transitioning to DeMar DeRozan.
I think that's what this season will tell us, right? But I mean, in all honesty, you've made a decision, and I think it's a decision AK had to make, right? Like AK's decision to sign Zach. First off, let me answer the first question.
Yeah, go.
You got to build around Zach LaVine because he's 26, 27.
Right.
Yeah. He still has time.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
He's a lot younger than
He's in
DeRozan.
that prime. He's hitting his prime.
DeMar DeRozan, while I think and DeMar DeRozan, right, while I think that he'll be able to continue to play for a long time because of his style of game, like a 2-dribble pull-up, you can do that till you 40 and still put up 15 plus in this league.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, right, like there's going to come a point where right now, right, DeMar can't be the number one. Zach has to take that step to where we like, nah, Zach LaVine is our number one on this team. And not to say it has to be that every night, right? Like DeMar DeRozan historically in the NBA is one of the best fourth quarter finishers of all time. That's Hakeem, Jordan, all of them. DeMar's like top 10 on that list. Like, so I want DeMar with the ball in his hand in the fourth quarter. But quarters 1 through 3, Zach, I need you cooking. Or if DeMar is off, Zach, I need you cooking, right? So for me, I think you have to build around Zach LaVine. But the thing is, right, like the NBA shifts so quickly, dog. Like who would have ever thought that with all the draft picks going on in Orlando, Paolo Banchero's the one that they like, oh, no, this gonna work. Right?
Yeah,
like who would have thought that
right.
after all the trades you make last year, like you looking at last year's trade for the Pacers and you like, and these are just teams that's at the bottom of the totem pole, but you looking at last year's trade for the Pacers and you like, oh man, we good. We got the point guard of our future. And then Ben Mathurin show up and he putting up 30 straight talking about LeBron got to show me something. Like,
You're right.
I mean? Like, so the NBA is literally like whenever the star decides, hey, I'm gonna be that dude, right? Like we could say we're gonna build around Zach LaVine, but if Patrick Williams ever does take this leap that AK thinks he's gonna take, right, our whole mindset is different.
It's shifts.
No doubt, man. No doubt. That was a good discussion, man. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, this is the Fan Spectrum.
Yeah.